So this is going to be a real humdinger of an episode.
I know this is so much of this is like low key Cinemax movie.
Rated sixth worst episode, according to Screen Rant. No, ninth.
Well, I tell
darkest
you what,
episode.
They got to redo. They got to redo their whole after Picard, because the episode this week I think was the worst episode of any Star Trek show I've ever seen, and I've seen Neelix take a bath.
That was where they were all at that party, and Brent Spiner decided to do a hit and run, right?
Kill Picard, and then they're at the infirmary, and they're like, "Oh, wait a minute! Wasn't this about like trying to get his ancestor into quarantine?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, that happened. we didn't show it, but we did it." And it's like, you guys don't care. You don't care. Jonathan Frakes directed that episode. He doesn't care.
Maybe he's just trying to run out the clock or something.
I don't know, man. That should be the flagship show. I mean, thankfully, the actual flagship show, Discovery, is good.
Strange New Worlds is coming up too.
Yeah, I have high hopes for that. I really do. But man, Picard, what a stinky winky.
Yep. I think that they're just trying to flush out. So here's my theory about New Trek. We have 4 new shows. At least the fourth one is about to come out.
Yeah.
And they're all wildly different from each other. And within those, the 3 of the 4 shows already put out there, the seasons, with the exception of Lower Decks, the seasons have been wildly different from each other. So I think they're really trying to find that secret sauce and dial it in. And by them spreading out all the experimentation over all these shows, it's a safer way to hedge your bets to create something that someone's going to like, to find that magic formula. And if surprisingly, I mean, look at Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian, where it's the same style show, just different characters.
Oh, you forgot Prodigy in there too, which was actually
yes. So 5 shows now, 5 Trek shows.
Yeah, Prodigy was better than either season of Picard was. And I would even say I had more fun with Prodigy than I did with season 2 of Discovery, which I thought was kind of a stinky season.
So at the start of Man of the People, I believe that they're already gearing up for Deep Space Nine. If not, they're just getting the production ready. I don't think they've started filming yet or put out any episodes. But they're getting there because Marvin Rush, I think, or Martin Rush, whatever the name of that Rush guy is, he got off the show and moved over to the DS9 team. In fact, I'm going to look that up right now.
We should probably start the...
January 3rd, 1993 is when Deep Space Nine started. So yes, they're very much moving over. And this is something that we're going to notice.
I remember that because
this is something that's going to be really interesting because Deep Space Nine, it comes out January 3rd, 1993. And we are Man of the People is what? November, December of 92, right around there. October.
No, I think it's still October. Okay.
So with Man of the People coming out October 5th, 1992, what you're going to see now, and the cast has complained about this, is that a lot of the stories and resources from this point forward are going to slowly bleed out to Deep Space Nine.
I don't think I noticed that until season 7, because I think 6 is the best season of Next Generation.
Okay. I would agree with you on that.
Hello, and welcome to a super sensual episode of Next Generation's First Generation. It's been a long day, and it's time for for Riker and Troy to let their hair down and do crew evaluations. But Troy can't keep her mind on her work. What's going to happen in this crazy episode? You're not wrong. That's my co-host, Sascha Shouties.
Hello.
Sensual Patrick Delmore. And you're listening to Next Generation's First Generation.
Oh, man. Talk about getting your sexy on. There it is. Well, this is the episode, huh? This is what is it? Man of the People?
Man of the People.
And this is
a Troy episode, and they name it after a man.
Oh, there's so many things wrong about this episode, which we will go into with great detail. But first,
it is funny. Oh my God. There are some acting choices in this that are so brilliant. These guys knew what they were doing. They really did.
Yeah. So without further ado, go ahead and cue up your viewing device. We'll give you the countdown. And here it comes. 5, 4, 3, 2, and play. Warping along.
Okay. So they have to aid a transport ship that is being attacked because it has a very important ambassador on it. He's important because the plot says so. There's an ending to this that would have been so great that they just don't do. But we didn't have the budget to show two ships attacking the transport, so they just say they saw the Enterprise and the ships flew off. And here now is the
I noticed a lot of that. When that really bugged me as a kid, I picked up on that early on. It's like, wait, you could have shown us a fight sequence, but you just narrated it away. Why? I want to see some action.
Oh, this is something that needs so much cleanup after what goes on in this. I like that the transport ship looks like the Satellite of Love from Mystery Science Theater 3000.
I did not even make that connection. The ship, I believe, is named it's after that gray guy. What's his name? It was the name of so this show actually references a plot. Dorian Gray, the picture of Dorian Gray, and the name of the ship is actually Dorian. So they kind of
wow, boy, that makes this even dumber than it was to begin with. I didn't pick up at all. So Troy, once again, like the thing that she should be able to fix this completely, but she doesn't. This guy is pretending that his girlfriend is his mother, or actually, she's not even his girlfriend. I think he calls her a receptacle later on, much to Picard's anger. But yeah, that's
oh my God,
all of his negative emotions go into this woman.
It reminds me of it reminds me of that scene where Lois Griffin is going through the mall with Meg to a Spencer's and say, look at this t-shirt, it says sperm dumpster on it and it's all covered in glitter.
Oh Lord.
I mean, that would fit in right away with this receptacle lady. That's really too bad.
It is. I mean, thankfully, we get Picard to disapprove of it, but
so here we go, beginning of a very depressing episode. Man of the People came out in October 5th, 1992. So the production of Deep Space Nine should be ramping up, but we are still in the prime. Season 6, one of the best seasons of TNG, with the exception of this episode. Well, every season's got to have a bad pancake, I suppose.
True enough.
One thing that in my research for this episode, I discovered that one of the reasons this episode is so bad is that they had to write it right away. Originally, they were supposed to be filming that episode Relics with James Doohan. And because of scheduling, he couldn't do it. So like, oh, we got to get an episode going. And they had this script, and basically they took each act and gave it to a different writer, and another writer just kind of compiled it all together to try to make it work.
Oh Lord.
Yep. It was, and oh geez, who was it? The guy who compiled the whole thing more or less called it, and I quote, a gangbang script, where they were just trying to get it done and put it in.
Expression.
Terrible. Yeah, no, there are so many things. Frank Abatramaco. I'm sure I'm saying that name incorrectly.
So Picard is trying to make the case that he needs this guy off his ship because it's going to look really bad if the flagship of the Federation shows up with just a simple negotiator, because it makes it look like they have some kind of a military interest in what's happening on this planet. And I think they could have followed up on that later on, but they don't. This conversation is really just to fill in time in an episode where not a lot happens. Our ambassador's like, no, I'm fine coming on the Enterprise. And they're like, okay, if you're good with it, we don't really care about what the people on the planet think.
Federation puts a lot of trust in the ambassadors. I'd almost say that ambassadors are right up there with evil admirals. The only difference is the ambassador can kind of control what goes on in the ship, and the admiral just kind of pulls the strings from a distance.
Well, Spock was a good ambassador.
Yes, he was. Oh, with Picard, or with the new season of Picard coming up, I wonder if we'll get to hear about Ambassador Worf's career.
Could be. Speaking of Worf, here's his calisthenics class, which, at this time I had a teacher that used to do, these kind of Tai Chi things with us in the third grade. And I was like, this is cool because, Worf does it also. Now, Troy is at the very back of the class. I like that Worf teaches with his back to the class. A little bit of foreshadowing. This guy is mirroring what Troy is doing rather than looking at Worf. So he's already kind of got his focus on her.
I do have to say that the other participants in Worf's class, we have seen them in uniform elsewhere on the show. So it was nice that they didn't just grab any extra off the call sheet.
And we slide right into porn dialogue. I believe in a strong connection between mind and body. Obviously, you have the same convictions. Only sometimes my body has a problem conforming to my mind's wishes. Oh. It looks like she was about to snap her towel at him, but she doesn't.
That is just sleazy.
I think my biggest asset is patience. And then when I get started, they're too tired to argue.
Oh my God. So basically you wear them down with your quote unquote charm, and then you have your way with them.
Yeah. I tend to feel my way through a situation, ma'am.
Oh, jeez.
If I were empathic like you, I'd have a real advantage. But I thought Lumerians were empathic. Oh, no, only with each other, not with other species. So I don't have any idea what you might be feeling right now. Curiosity. Oh. Calmness, serenity, tranquility. And you seem to embody the very qualities that you hope to draw out in others. Have you ever been involved in diplomatic negotiations? Several times with Captain Picard.
Oh God.
I could use some of that help. Would you like to come with me, Luigi Serona? If the captain authorizes it, of course I will. Good.
Did someone just
again.
did someone just get a romance novel from the grocery store before they
Pretty
went
much. It's like, you've been gone over an hour. Have you made it with him yet? And she's like, what? Like that weird double entendre conversation did never happen. Yes, it did, young lady. I wasn't born yesterday or even the day before. You'll regret it for the rest of your life. And he keeps this poor woman. He keeps calling her mother, and she's not his mom. She's like, "Wow, I forgot how scrunchies work." It looks like she took the scrunchie like oblong and tied it around the back of her head, or the back of her hair. So here's Riker. It's time for crew evaluations. Something they like to do together.
We have 1,000 people. We got to do all of this within the next 3 days.
I think they probably just do the command staff.
I don't know. We saw that in Lower Decks, the evaluation time as well. Because everybody's wondering if they're going to get a promotion or not.
So she's scared of the guy's mom. It's not really his mom. Her emotions are like out of proportion and evil. And of course, we find out that the reason that she feels this is because those are his emotions.
At least his unwanted emotions.
Yeah. He's like, hey, baby, you'll be an old hag someday. He makes up for this later. You know, it's a messed up episode when Riker actually comes out looking good in a relationship with a person of the opposite sex. All right, molecular biology, Lieutenant Jeffrey Freitas, and then Worf calls him.
I would say that Riker really redeems himself later on, though, and is actually a decent person. After this show.
This is actually a very good Riker episode. So,
oh my gosh!
So fake mother is dead with her hands, clenched in rage.
I have a hard time.
The expression on the actress's face down, where she's like, "This was some of the most fun I've ever had playing any part. Was just being shrill at Troy." I never should have brought her along. I'm such a fool. She was 93.
93 months old, maybe. Jeez.
Yeah. Counselor, there's a funeral meditation. Part of our rituals. As an empath, you're the only person on board who could perform it with me. And I like that even though this person is dead, she still can't tell this guy's lying. And he's got these magic rocks in like a Marilyn Manson coffin.
The beautiful people, the beautiful people, the beautiful people, the beautiful people. It all depends on the size of your steeple.
Like, could we like do this on the holodeck? Or no. Just in my room with the lights dimmed is fine. It's just a rock tapping ceremony. It's all good.
Owatagu Siam. I say it a little faster. Owatagu Siam. Okay, one more time. What a goose I am. And he's gonna goose her.
Oh, I got tricked by that when I was a kid too. Not magic rocks, but the Owatagu Siam. I even had a towel as a turban while I was doing it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
There's that blue lightning effect. Boy, they love that effect in the show.
He's all grinning at her, and she's like obviously like having convulsions and staring at him.
So I was reading up, and Marina Sirtis kind of said that as she progressed in this episode, looking a little bit older and looking in the mirror, she chose the try a character's shoes on and just act like the person that I see in the mirror. Mm-hmm. that's a legitimate acting method. Sounds like she had a lot of fun playing it, but you know, I think she was the only one who actually had fun in this episode.
Well, good. She deserves to have some fun. I'm going to argue that Crusher, or at least Gates McFadden, gets to do a line reading later on that's like just absolutely brilliant. I'll tell you when it happens.
Okay.
So they want to give the fake mom an autopsy, but Mr. Ambassador says it's against his religion.
Well, one of the best things you can do is tell Dr. Crusher not to do something, and she'll do it just because you said so.
Yep.
Don't beam down to that planet. Don't stay longer than you have to be necessary. Don't be friends with that terrorist. Oh, can you imagine if this is Pulaski in this episode?
Oh yeah, it would be. They just come in here and she's just putting various organs in jars. I mean,
and Pulaski probably wouldn't see any problem with what the guy was doing anyway. It's like, well, that's part of their culture.
So I'm sure Jolene Blalock, Linda Park, and Jerry Ryan are all super jealous of Troy in this scene because it's like she gets to be sexy with just that V in her neck and doesn't have to walk around in a bra and panties.
Or in a cat suit. Like,
yeah.
I never understood Star Trek's late Trek's sexualization with women. It's like, we need someone with bigger boobs. We need a more revealing outfit. It didn't seem to match with what the show was trying to portray value wise, and I'm not trying to slut shame or anything like that. I'm just saying it's like, it doesn't make sense for the story. Here it makes sense for the story.
Yeah,
this is not, ooh, hey, she's getting all sexy. This is something's wrong, and you can watch her kind of explore what that wrong is.
And I like it because that's kind of the area that her mom exudes most prominently, is that front chest with all of the many freckles that Majel Barrett had.
So here's a theory for you. So Troy's in emotional distress right now, and she's kind of sexualizing her body just a little bit right there. I wonder if that's kind of what her mom used to do. Is that something's going on, so she's going to explore those feelings through sex.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is it's like this is a little bit of a being John Malkovich deal. She is at the mercy of this guy's emotions, and I mean he can't sleep with her like she's asking for, because it would mean that he has to re-engage with those negative emotions.
Okay. Boy, I'm
really being manipulated.
I'm really surprised that you threw out that whole being John Malkovich reference. I haven't seen that in years.
It's an oldie but a goodie. Yeah, it's 23 years old this year, so.
So you're saying that he has to deny her, otherwise he would have to access those feelings that
Correct.
He just dumped. Now,
Correct.
Picard and Sarek did something very similar to this.
Yep.
Where the difference was it was consensual, where
exactly
Picard was just saying, let me take your anger and hate and fear and rage for a couple of hours so you can negotiate. But here, this looks more like grooming, to tell you the truth. Now, watching this as a kid, I didn't really understand what was happening.
No, a kid wouldn't.
Necessarily, like, I knew something was wrong. She got the rock zap. I kind of knew something was weird when she was doing the Tai Chi by herself in front of the mirror. But I still thought this was normal Deanna. You will notice she's wearing her hair a little differently. It's down. And this right here is kind of alerted to me something's wrong, where she just kind of pushed away and was angry that she was rejected. Now
here's your lower deck scenario.
Yes.
Ensign Fantastic Sam.
I just got a haircut.
Exactly.
$2.99.
Mr. Mott says there's no way I won't get a promotion with my hair like this.
You know, Ensign, I am doing the quarterly reviews. If I remember correctly, we just see Riker passing this guy.
Yeah, he's sitting on her bed when Riker comes in here. Fully clothed, of course. She probably just did like a fan dance or something for him. Hello,
I'm surprised that outfit was allowed on network TV, just with her kind of nipping out. I mean, that's what she wants to wear. That's not a problem. I actually think that's pretty tasteful for a sexy outfit. But in the 90s, I'm just like, whoa, hey. We can show just about anything. I'm really surprised that Riker doesn't dig a little deeper into this, other than I'm fine with you doing what you're doing.
No, but they have a really nice conversation about it once everything's cleared up.
So how would you feel if you're you're about to get it on with a hookup that just came up to your apartment, and your colleague comes in and basically interrupts the session you're about to start so they can do work?
Well, it's his boss.
True.
And it's funny because depending upon how long that guy has been on the Enterprise, he's going to be like, have any of you had your evaluation yet? It's weird this year.
It's way more than the standard behavioral interviewing you're used to.
So now we're with two more of this guy's species talking about how basically these two groups are kind of doing acts of terrorism against each other. And this guy's the one guy who can fix it. And like he said earlier, his goal is to just make everybody exhausted until they have to talk.
So these three are on one side. They're not.
Right.
So a cooling off period.
They tried to have a ceasefire, but it was like under the time limit set up for the ceasefire was broken.
Wow, that's very insightful of Mr. Picard there. He recommended the city by the coast. They got a good golf course there, movie theater, a froyo stand.
I love this with the conversation where it's like, so and so doesn't like me. Well, I don't like you either, lady.
We've seen a repeat of this scene.
Yeah.
Remember, what episode was it where she was completely dismissive of somebody and just said, maybe this is your fault and not his?
It's when she lost her empathic abilities.
Yeah, that's right. And she freaked out. So we know this about Deanna. When she is not doing well and her empathic abilities are a little effort up, she is a mean person.
Yeah. This would have been a great time for her mom to visit the ship and just cut to the quick on everything that's going on.
Oh, her mom would cut right through it saying, how dare you talk to me like that? What is going on with you? Yes, you're going to be coddled. Everyone's coddled on this ship. Basically, you have to do something heroic and you can get away with anything. That guy we killed, I saved the ship. What are you going to do?
I would say the Enterprise would coddle her more than any time at the Academy would coddle her.
Yeah.
I mean, you see that with Wesley. It was like, yeah, they held his hand and tucked him into bed when he was on the Enterprise. And at the Academy, things weren't so easy.
I just was shocked that Deanna basically threatened this woman with her job.
Yep.
And said, if you don't get it together, get ready for a transfer.
Yeah, that's why she shouldn't be the counselor, because she does have some say in who keeps their jobs.
So this is a very different view of Beverly. We don't usually see her just kind of lying, I guess, prone against a workstation like that. I didn't know what to think about that, if it was a deliberate thing or not.
Yeah, I don't quite know why Gates McFadden made that choice.
It's hard to tell. They're always trying to do different things. One of the complaints is a lot of these characters are kind of locked in their own parts. That's probably why some of the, offbeat comedy works so well, with Riker getting his hair done incorrectly by Data or something like that.
Yeah. So Riker's going to sit down with the ambassadors, and Troy's going to come in and just call them all out. Again, these are our main guy's thoughts. The minute you walk in the room. Or no, it should be whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. Whatever Deanna wants,
she's gonna get it.
Gets.
Whoa. She's looking all oldie. She's got a nice little skunk tail going on in her hair. That's actually pretty good.
And you're envious of him.
So my question is, why did he latch on to Deanna and not this other lady, other than the plot?
He does eventually latch on to the other lady. He thought that the fake mother was going to live a little bit longer.
Gotcha.
Because she died so suddenly, he had to take Deanna. Because he is planning to use the other woman. I don't know what you thought you were doing in there, but
boy, she's really channeling her mom pretty well.
Oh, totally. That's absolutely a dress that Majel Barrett would wear. That's one of the few instances of her calling him Imzadi.
And now Will is all about not being manipulated. So usually, I think also what makes Will uncomfortable about this situation, not only his friend is in distress and obviously acting different, but Will is a dominant person in the bedroom. And so he does not like taking orders from Deanna, mostly because she's not a dominant personality type. Whoa, she just scratched him.
Yes, and I love that his reaction to that was just to back away from her. So now it hasn't happened yet, so I won't get into it. But now age a little bit more.
Her hair's looking unkempt now. That's a great wig. Yeah. They got that at the Halloween store down the street.
And it's like Marina Sirtis is now about this age and looking a lot better.
She's aged pretty well.
I agree.
It almost sounds a little consensual here, this conversation. You said you needed me. Oh, going down to the planet's surface.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
He doesn't need. He can actually be away from her because she is his anchor.
Yeah.
He is using her as the emotional receptacle. They can do that from the space of a planet away.
So to kind of go back with the Will Deanna thing just before the scratch, had Deanna not been like quote unquote in charge of that scene, I think Will would have been very okay to let it go wherever it was going because it would have been natural. It would have been in character for them.
They say, I think it changed when they switched over to the Enterprise E, but they say that they had agreed that they weren't going to be together when they were on the ship. Now, Crusher's reaction to this, where she's just like, she's very like, I will pay lip service to this crap you were saying about Troy, but like I just can't with you coming in here all scratched up. It's unfortunate that you can't hear what this dialogue sounds like because she's just not having it.
Honestly, this is a a hint to domestic violence when you think about it. If Deanna walked in with a black eye, look at there's a corridor behind your blinds. Wasn't there like a window there before or to space?
But he would have come. Riker has come back from countless diplomatic missions to get patched up by Crusher to be like, I don't know what I said, and then she slapped me. I don't know what I said, and then she stabbed me. I don't know what the deal with Deanna is. And at this point, Crusher's going to be like, look,
Yeah.
Will, I work with Deanna and you both every day, and I'm sorry you got scratched, but don't come in here with this, please.
Whoa! Is that a knife? Did she just stab Picard?
He just stabbed Picard.
Or almost
like merely a flesh wound. It's like it's so now it's Picard getting stabbed. So she's like, so Crusher's like, okay, there is something up. She's like, Riker gets hit a lot.
Oh yeah.
But Captain Picard does not get stabbed.
That's odd that they carried her down the hallway. You think
it's a little bit of taking away her ability. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Removing her agency. That's what I wanted to say.
Yes. By the way, it's really nice to see Nurse Ogawa in 2 episodes in a row.
Oh yeah. And I do like though that they put her in a force field and didn't like strap her to that table.
Oh. Yeah.
Because they could have gone that route and it would not have aged well.
No, restraints are still very negatively looked upon. I mean, we haven't used a straitjacket in a really long time, like decades and decades, but people still refer to it all the time.
Mm.
So they are contacting the ambassador. They need to talk to him. So they know something's wrong, but I missed. Why do they think this is connected to him?
No, they wanted to figure out what's going on with Troy. They needed to perform an autopsy on the woman he was saying was his mother, and they need his permission. Nice close up of the Stargazer there a second ago.
Mm-hmm.
So the truth is revealed. Don't have any explanation for this, but her spinal column and all her organs are the organs of a 30-year-old woman, not a 93-year-old woman.
Well, sounds like the same thing that's happening to Deanna happened to this lady. That was not his mother. No, that's just what we call each other in the bedroom.
Yuck.
Don't ambassadors like have diplomatic immunity or something?
Yes. So there's a lot of just like, okay, that happened. How do they explain that at the end of this episode? So Picard goes down to interrupt the negotiations. Like, no, she wasn't my mother. She wasn't 93 years old. Captain, did you perform an autopsy against my wishes? Well, you just said she wasn't your mother, guy. Deanna Troy is in sickbay dying, and Dr. Crusher doesn't know the cause of her condition, but I believe that you do. Mister, it's going crazy in there. They're throwing chairs. They knocked the complimentary fruit bowl on the floor.
That's okay. Just tell them to calm down, and I'll be in there with a tray of cupcakes. It'll be safer if we throw those.
Yeah, a very well-to-do woman slipped on a strawberry and then fell into a pile of bananas, and everybody started to laugh, and pies got thrown.
They were abusing the complimentary slide whistles. So I got a question. I think I should save it to the end, but I'm very curious. This guy's abilities. So what we know so far about this guy is that he's got these magic stones that he can broadcast his his angst and fear and all this other stuff into his victim. And it's also known that the race is empathic. Um, can How well known is what he's doing? Like, if he were on his home planet and bought these stones, would people be like, "What are you up to? What are you doing with these?" There's only one
Yeah, that's
reason
a
why you
great
would buy
question,
these
and they don't
stones.
resolve it. Although, what's her name? The woman that he tries to do it to after they think Troy's dead is of the same species as he is, and she has no idea what he's doing. So it must not be a common occurrence.
Might be an angle that he discovered.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of talked over it, but it looks like he just kind of openly explained to Picard what it was he was doing.
Correct.
I do give him that. You don't normally see villains just openly saying, "Yeah, this is what I do." In fact, the only other person who did this in Trek in Next Gen was where Troy fell in love with a negotiator who was negotiating on the behalf of the Benzentine, whatever wormhole. You remember that episode? And
Yes.
and the guy actually started negotiating against the Federation. They treated him as evil, and his whole thing was, "This is what I do. This is no different than what
Yep.
you do for Picard." And I think this ambassador, is trying to take the same angle as like, it's a tool. She said she was okay with this, and we're going to continue, and I'm not going to
Yeah.
release her because I need her so I can complete this job for the Federation.
And it's the needs of the many argument too.
Yeah. So why is it called Man of the People? That's what I want to know.
Because that's who he's supposed to be, as a man of the people.
I guess.
They could have called it, Dorian.
Right.
Would have made as much sense. So they wanted to arrest him, but the people on the planet wouldn't let him.
No.
They decided to pull guns on Worf.
Yeah. Can't
So
do that.
They're going to decide that the only way to trick him is to make it look like Troy's dead.
It's not every day you just pull a gun on Picard. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. Gets stabbed and gets a gun pulled on him at the same time.
And within the same act, really? No, one act after another. Would it have worked better had they introduced the knife before she used it? So you know how they say,
Yeah,
if you show a gun, it has to be used in the following act or something like that. Geez, we even saw that on the new West Side Story. There was a whole side thing about how the Jets wanted to get a gun.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you think of that movie, real quick?
I liked it. It definitely plays to today's social issues. The classic arguments that production shares with us about cultural strife has not changed at all. I mean, that's kind of the disappointing part. I think that they kind of showed what good old boys racism looks like. But I did not enjoy it because it wasn't a happy ending. It was basically a whole bunch of people got killed, move on.
Yep. I would have preferred that it had been basically that with different songs, and it would have like, oh, this is like West Side Story, rather than, oh, and it's called West Side Story. But the best thing I could say about it is that in regular West Side Story, Maria talks like a baby, and she doesn't in this.
Yes. I haven't seen the original West Side Story since I was very young. Okay, so we're at the conference. Everybody's congratulating themselves, slaps on the backs. They've wiped off the cupcakes from their mouths. They've covered up the bruises from the thrown chairs, but the ambassador's feeling a little lightheaded and weak. I think they just synthetically killed Deanna.
Yep.
No, she's dying. They're not gonna kill her. Watching this as a kid, I was like, they're not gonna kill her. They're done with that. It only
Of course
happened
not. What they
once.
did with Kirk in the episode where he and Spock fight, we had to make it look like he was dead. And they did
Oh,
it to Picard instead of or in Code of Honor too.
yeah. I think everybody's been through the sick bay with a life-threatening illness, except for Dr. Crusher.
Yep.
You got Worf, you got Picard, you have Deanna right there, you have Riker with that weird Thorn clip show business, LaForge when he turned into a blue goober.
Now, my question is, if this guy's whole thing is like that he needs to look young also, why doesn't he look younger than this? Is this the age you'd pick to be?
I guess there might be socially prominent to look like a 40-some-year-old. I would imagine that character's trying to be like 45 or right around there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he's setting up a kidnapping. He's going to beam a woman out of the quarters. Make sure to have a nice suit for her to wear when she rematerializes.
Now you're seeing that when he talked to Deanna about doing this, it was just a manipulation. It had nothing to do with being empathic at all.
She looks familiar. She's been in Trek before. I can. Did we get a name for her? That character?
We did, I don't remember what it was.
There's an Ensign Janeway in here.
I noticed that.
Yeah, they borrowed
compensated for that stuff.
Janeway was the lady being yelled at in the counseling session, but it's not the same person. But it is. They did use the surname.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Sev. Maybe that's her. No, that was the old lady.
This is just the chant that they're doing.
Okay, her name's Leva.
That's L-I-V-A. Right. I thought of Disenchanted. Nobody's ever left here before except Levo.
So it's played by Stephanie Erb, ERB. And yeah, she has been in other Star Trek before. All right. She was also in Starship Troopers.
Huh.
Oh, look at that.
Was she Denise Richards?
I don't know.
Probably not.
Are they going to kill her? Are they really going to kill her and bring her back?
Was already fake dead. They've got all their monitoring equipment that goes beep. Haven't got her yet. We won't know if it's working till it's working. Okay. Manipulation 101. You woke up.
No, my eyeballs are not pretty.
I know, and then he grabs her, of course.
It like turns into a B horror film now, where doesn't he turn old and die or something like that? Yeah, there he is.
Worf just stands there and watches. They transport her off. Worf opens the door and he's just like, I'm just gonna watch you die. I like the way you die, mister.
That's a nice metamorphosis. Okay, yeah. So Stephanie was they brought her back for Enterprise first season in Shockwave. Yeah, let me tell you something about picking boogers in public, young man. Don't do it, or you'll end up like me.
So the admiral that we saw is like, so let me get this straight. The minute negotiations are over, you bring the ambassador back on your ship and just stand there and watch him die? What's the deal with that, Picard?
Look at her hair. Oh
Now,
my
what I would have
gosh.
loved is as they were leaving, if you just see that huge explosion on the planet. Like,
Big
what was
kaboom.
that? I don't know. Guess it didn't work. But we get this great wrap up scene with Deanna and Riker, where he says that he'll stick with her even when she's old and gray, which is super sweet. And it's
Yeah.
what panned out later on in the story is they get married and have the Titan together and have their 2 kids. And
I do want to say that this is the one shining spot in this episode is the continuity of their relationship.
totally,
That I think that without this scene, people would have been really confused because the last thing we saw between these two is that she scratched him up. But look at that.
yeah,
They're good
really,
friends.
I really like that ending, which elevates this episode to a 2.
Whoa, you're generous.
I am. What do you
All
give?
right, so that's the end of the episode. You give it a 2 out of 5. Two stones, magic telekinesis stones. I would have to give this one, I don't know, probably a 1 out of a 5, 2 out of 5. I kind of like the Tai Chi. I like seeing the background actors. I liked seeing the relationship with Troy and Deanna, but I am so done with these I'm a telepath and someone's got to screw with me episode. I get it.
I think there's only one more, which is the Kirsten Dunst episode.
Did we do the 1 moon 2 circles episode?
Oh yeah,
2 eyes in the dark.
yes.
Oh.
It's over. I hadn't seen that episode in years. I doubt I will ever see it again.
Oh, well, I remember you saying something in season 5. We were watching a show. We were watching one of the episodes. I think it was the Picard's flute episode. And we both had said, after this watch through, this is pretty much going to put TNG to bed for us. I mean, with the exception of about 10 episodes, this is kind of, it's finally played out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, with that being said, folks, I guess we can wrap this one up. Thank you so much for joining us in which is otherwise a notably terrible episode in Next Gen, but I hope you had a lot of fun with us. The next episode coming up, hold on to your thrusters. It's Relics. That is the Scotty comes on board and is jealous of Geordi because he's got the cool job in the new ship and he is just a relic. Yep. So with that, folks, I'd like to say have a wonderful day.